Hello, my friend, and welcome to the Sales Podcast. This is episode number 392, and this is my first one that I've done from a car on Zoom. I have done one in a car a long time ago on a phone call from Austin, Texas, in a parking garage, but that was a long time ago. Steve Gordon, great guy. It's called the Become an Unstoppable CEO, the sneaky way to meet your ideal prospects. A really good guy, a lot of information he shared, so you are in for a treat. I just recorded or just released as well Mike Volpe and Ryan Ball, one of the few tag team interviews I've done. They're with a company that's well beyond a startup now. It was founded by the kayak founder, the dude that, the kind of like Priceline, right? You can shop for your travel stuff, but kind of got the sales and the marketing side of things. So if you want to see how they are rapidly growing, make sure you go and check that out. Steven Spencer is coming up next. He is an SEO expert, so it was great chatting with him. I was on his podcast as well. SEO, like everything, is changing, but there's also some fundamental things that are not changing. I've always focused on the core things in my business. Even at my core, I work on sales training because selling is at the bottom. It's at the foundational level of everything we do, your marketing, your presentations, even a podcast, right? At its core, I'm selling you on tuning in, on subscribing, on listening till the end. As I have sponsors or different offers, are you tuning into that? It's all sales. But Stephen really gets into the nitty gritty. The guy has been in this for a long time, and he provides some great resources. So be sure to check that out in the next episode. I'm working on a new sponsor right now with actually 20-something emails going back and forth with the agency they had brought on to help negotiate this, but we should be hearing from them in the next episode. I was holding off for a couple of days. I thought we'd get it ironed out, but everything takes longer than you think it will. So are you growing your business with that understanding? And what are you doing to compress sales cycles? I always say that time kills deals. If you let too much time pass with a hot prospect, you're going to get into trouble. But on the flip side, if it's a big deal, if it's a big major account, if you try to go too fast, you're going to ruin the deal. So when do you accelerate? When do you kind of coast? Let the thing kind of run its course. It's not always easy to know, but when you've done it for 22 years, you've put food on the table for a family of 9 by doing that, you get kind of good at it. That's why I've got the 30-day sales growth program. Come join us. Enroll now. You'll never have to pay again and to be a member. That'll change by the end of the year when it goes to a subscription model. But I'm still adding content, still bringing over new stuff, old stuff, updating it. So I'm charging less to reward you for sticking it out in the beginning. But the real key is being able to ask questions. Other members of the group will answer it, but I will answer it. If you want one-on-one time with me now, it starts at 90-day consulting at $3,000 a month, at least. So you can spend that, or you can spend literally a fraction of that. And it's not one-on-one, but I will answer your questions. So in a way, it's like one-on-one. So join us, 30daysalesgrowth.com. I'll help you sell more. After you enroll, come back and listen to this episode with Steve Gordon.
Steve Gordon, all the way from Tallahassee, right?
That's right.
Tallahassee, Florida, Unstoppable CEO. Welcome to my home office in my car from Big Bear Lake, California, and welcome to the Sales Podcast. Man, how the heck are you?
I'm great, man. Glad to be here. And I think this is my first podcast interview where one end of it was in a car. So we're breaking new ground.
Like I said, I think this is my second. I know I did one years ago, Clint Arthur, but we just did a phone. He had to reschedule, and I sat in a garage parking lot, and we dialed in and recorded it. But, man, that was like 250 episodes ago at least. I don't know. Been doing this 6 years. So it was time to do another one in the car. I think Jerry Seinfeld has something now, right? Like comedians eating
Comedians
coffee.
in cars, drinking coffee, something
Yeah.
like that. Yeah, it's a
All right.
trend.
What's the British dude that they do the singing? Gets the they sing in the car. I don't watch the show much. I'm drawing a blank, but yeah, everything happens in the car now, so it's all good.
That's right.
So what is this unstoppable CEO, man? Are you making me 10 feet tall and bulletproof? Are you an MMA expert? Are you going to teach me how to fight?
I don't think so. You wouldn't want to learn that from me. But no, where that came from, I was having a conversation with a buddy back when I started this business. And when I first started it, I just used my name, and it was pretty simple. And we decided we want to get some branding. And a buddy of mine was asking me, who do you really serve? Who are you trying to be a hero to? And so we started talking about it. I said, well, it's the business owners who've really kind of built the business. They've been, fairly successful, and they've just, every time something gets thrown at them and put in their way, they just keep going and they push through it and they do whatever they have to do. And he turned to me and said, oh, they're unstoppable, huh? And I'm like, yeah, okay, that's it. I think we got a name. So that's really where it came from. It describes the people that we work with. And, I have so much respect for the folks that go out and build businesses day in and day out. It is not the kind of job that normal people would sign up for. There's a lot of risk involved, and awful lot of challenges get thrown in your way. And the people that persevere for 5 or 10 or 20 or 50 years, I find them to be pretty amazing people to be around. And so that's who we serve.
Are we crazy? Are we stubborn? Are we antisocial? We just can't work for anybody else? Is that why we stick this thing out?
I think that's probably all of it. That's why you're sitting alone in a car having a conversation right now, isn't it?
Yeah, but I'm in shorts and flip-flops, and last minute we take a week off, and 45 minutes from now I'll be doing Brazilian jiu-jitsu with a friend. So it's all good,
It's all good. It's all good. And you could only do this and have that kind of freedom.
Right.
Pretty awesome.
Yeah, but it is. It could be a crazy world. I mean, I've been at this 13 years now, and I still sometimes I'm like, why the hell did I do this? I see friends working at big companies making a lot of money. I'm like, I could go do that. I walked away from that, but having the freedom, I think that's ultimately it. But what do you see? What's the common thing you see CEOs struggling with that you help them alleviate?
Well, for the folks that we work with, oftentimes they got into business because they were attracted to a certain field. Maybe it's engineering or law or, some other business that they fell in love with the business, and they're really good at delivering the thing that the business does, probably expert at it. But they quickly realized, hey, we've got to learn how to market and sell this because we need customers coming in the door. And, and that's really where we come in. And actually, I was in that position. I got a job out of college. I have a technical degree. So I came out of college and got hired by a small consulting firm. And we didn't really know how to market that business. We got referrals, the phone would ring periodically, but no rhyme or reason to it. And I'd been there about 4 years. I got asked to take over and be the CEO from the founder. And just really all of a sudden felt the entire weight of the world on me to try and figure out how do we continue the growth that we had going. And none of us knew anything about marketing. And so that really started what's now been a 20-year journey trying to understand the science of what makes people buy. And so we built that firm, grew that firm. I got the opportunity to kind of leave and work with other businesses and help them with their marketing, which I love doing. And so that's kind of how we got to this point. But I understand that struggle. And for so many people, it's just difficult to figure it out. Most business owners don't want to be professional marketers.
Right. I've always told people, your number one job as a business owner is to market yourself. Am I correct? Am I off base there?
Oh, I think that's completely accurate. But I think there are a lot of people in business that while they understand that intellectually, they aren't engaged by the work that's involved in marketing, and they don't have either the talent or the desire to develop the capability to do it themselves.
Yeah. Why? They're not engaged. I mean, that's a good word. Is it because it's a new skill? Do they feel it's beneath them? Do they feel it's too hard? Do they feel like they're cheesy snake oil salesmen trying to just get people to raise their hand and come buy from them? What? All the above?
Well, yeah, no, I think there's a little bit of truth in all of that. The thing that I hear most often from the folks that we work with is that they, in small companies, they're wearing a lot of hats already, and they're doing what they can to market. But as you know, marketing and sales changes fairly quickly, particularly over the last 10, 15, 20 years with the internet. And the techniques and the tactics that are used have changed very rapidly. I think that's hard for a business owner to keep up with sometimes. And they see all of these different techniques and strategies, and they get, the next email in their inbox, or they go to the networking event and they hear about so-and-so doing a particular, thing on LinkedIn, and they try that for a little while, and they're looking for the answer. But because it's not something that they can spend all of their time on, they've got to run the business and deal with clients and serve clients. I just think it becomes overwhelming for them. And I think that's what holds most of them back.
Yeah. You mentioned, somebody that they're good at what they do and they become, a business owner. It reminds me of Michael Gerber's E-Myth.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Right? The 3 types.
I think the reason that book has been so successful for so long is he's pretty accurately described the majority of business owners.
Right.
The technician that gets, what did he call it? A technician that has an entrepreneurial seizure.
Right.
Business.
Yeah. I mean, so for those that haven't read it, right, it's a business owner. People that start businesses, they're either a technician, they're a doer of the thing. They are an entrepreneur, they're a dreamer, they're a starter of the thing. And then they're the manager, right, that just makes sure stuff gets done. And none of those are perfect, right? All of those have strengths and weaknesses, but most seem to be entrepreneurs. I'm a great carpenter. I'm going to start my own, stair building workshop, cabinet building business. And once they run through their list of friends and family, they're like, okay, what do I do now?
Exactly.
Market.
Yeah.
Why don't we know this? Why are we allergic to marketing?
I really think it's going back to that word engagement. I think they're just, for so many business owners, it's not an area that they want to be engaged in. They want to do the work that they started the business to do. A great example of this is a contractor that we worked with for quite a number of years. Really excellent building contractor. If you were going to build a commercial space, this is the guy that you would want to build it, because he could visualize a set of plans in his mind. He'd find all the conflicts that were, existed in the architectural plans, and would save you just thousands and thousands of dollars by figuring that stuff out before things started to be put into place and be constructed. And he loved doing that part of it. And he absolutely was allergic to sales and marketing. So here you've got this guy that just was, one of the top in his field in terms of skill and expertise, but constantly struggled with getting business because he just, he just didn't have that desire or the aptitude to do it.
Is it just because, I don't know, it's like it's not taught. It's like kids that graduate high school and can't balance a checkbook.
Yeah.
It's like it just doesn't cross their radar.
I can tell you it's not taught. So my degree is technical, so I came out of a good university, out of a good engineering school. And we had a business law class. So I learned about law. We had to take an accounting class. I learned how to somewhat read financial statements, but there was no marketing class required, no sales class required. There was nothing. And I came out wholly unprepared for what was, really going to be the biggest necessity once I was out in the business world. And I think that's really common in most fields.
Well, and there's a risk too of, and I've seen this in many fields. A guy that I know, very successful author, marketer, consultant, he almost lost his business because he outsourced his accounting and bookkeeping, and not even outsourced. He hired a woman. She was full time, but she embezzled $1 million from him because he handed it off. And the old you can expect what you inspect. He wasn't a quote money guy, so he just let her do it. But on the flip side, I see the same thing. I'm working with a guy right now out of Colorado. He handed over his marketing to somebody, which in theory is smart, bringing a team. They help. And this happened to me in 2013. I brought on a team. I trusted them, their guidance, their direction, but they took Wes out of the sales whisperer. And like my new client, they took him out of the business. He's a marketer at heart. So he wants to blog. He's got this edgy personality that's nice, right, for his business. They took it all out. And his business is suffering. How do you outsource this, but still have your imprint, right? Your influence on it? Because I know most business owners, they want to just give it away. I don't want to do that. I don't want to be bothered with that. Oh, Facebook pixels, Snapchat, whatever. I just go make the phone ring. How do they do that and not get ripped off?
Well, I think like in anything where you're the consumer, you need to be educated, and you need to approach it with some common sense about what will work in your market and what won't. And so the biggest thing we see is people will come to us, and mostly we work with businesses who are selling a really high ticket service, so you're going to spend at least 4 figures, more likely 5 or 6 figures with them on a project if you're going to work with one of our typical clients. And you might, once you hire them, it may be a situation where you're going to be working with them for some number of years. So it's going to require a lot of trust and relationship to make that work. And so I see a lot of businesses like that who will get sold an inappropriate marketing method. So somebody will come in and sell them, I call it the drive-by advertising ad sales guy, right? It used to be the Yellow Pages guy would come in and get these types of businesses, and that didn't really work that well for him. Well, now it's AdWords or Facebook ads or, whatever the latest Instagram hack is. And you have to sort of stop and think, what am I trying to sell here? And how does it work in like the real world as I get clients? Do I have to spend a lot of time building relationships? And so if I'm going to now begin to market, most likely you're going to begin to market with some online methods. How can I replicate that same relationship development? Now, you can't maybe do it exactly, but how can I sort of model what already works offline in the online world? And that's where I see the biggest problem come in. And it's kind of not applying that common sense to it, thinking that, if I just pay this guy that barely knows anything about my business to put some ads up for me or to post to my profiles, 3 times a day, or to create some articles that I didn't write that don't reflect my point of view in the business and don't have my voice. You got to stop and think, is that going to attract the kind of people that you really want to do business with? Is it going to attract the really great clients that are going to help grow your business over the long term? Or is it just going to waste a lot of time and energy? And I think a lot of business owners are doing just what you say. They're just kind of abdicating. It's like, just let me write you a check, go take care of it. And then they get upset when the results kind of don't flow in, and they didn't apply that bit of common sense. And I think that's probably the first key step to getting out of that. Now, if you want to take it a step further than that, and you spend a little bit of time as an entrepreneur kind of thinking about what's your role in the business. And for all of us, that we might describe that a little bit differently. But as it relates to developing new business, where do you add value in that process? Is it writing? Is it being face-to-face and developing relationships? Is it stepping back and developing the messaging or the strategy? And I think understanding where you best plug in, and then building the team around you, whether it's an outsourced team or an internal team that can do everything else. And that's one of the things we work with our clients on quite a bit, as we're kind of getting to know each other before they've even hired us, is really trying to understand, who they're selling to and where the business owner sees their role in business development. And for some that means we're a great fit, and for others that means we're not such a great fit for them, and that's okay. But we want to get them in the optimal role so that they're only doing the things that they need to do, and most of the time that centers around delivering the message. Mm-hmm. So they got into business, and I have yet to meet a business owner that doesn't think that they're better than at least most of their competitors, if not all. Right? They've got their unique point of view. This is how we do it here, and this is why we do it, and why our way is superior. Right? And I think to be successful in business, you sort of have to have that belief. And they're really good about getting that message out often, in one-on-one when they're talking to prospects. Really what marketing should do is just take that same message and allow you to get it out more broadly with some scale and with some leverage. That's really all marketing should do. It's not complicated. And so the business owner probably needs to own that part. And the other part they need to own are the relationships. So if they're building relationships, whether the key relationships in the business are with partners or centers of influence, people that are going to drive business to you, either with traditional referrals or with getting you on stages, or however you make those new relationships happen, there are going to be key people that will open those doors for you. So you need to probably be building and owning relationships there and be freed up from everything else so you can do that. And then finally, you need to be building relationships with your new customers, your new clients. And I think if you can focus on those things and then build the team to kind of run the machine around that, I think you can be really successful.
Right. Yeah, and probably be leery of anybody showing up spouting tactics before they really understand you as a person. Huh?
Oh, absolutely. They need to understand your business. They need to understand what we would call your ideal client, so who you're trying to sell to and why that person buys. Mm-hmm. And then take all of that and develop a strategy that's going to achieve what you want. In other words, get more of those ideal clients coming to you. It's not just about leads, it's about getting the right leads. It's relatively easy to drive leads, as you know. But there's a big difference between really great leads that are going to contribute to the business and be profitable and really long-term assets versus leads that when you get them that, we've all had that experience where you get a lead in and it's just nowhere near a fit.
Right. Amen. So before we hit record, we were talking about, you do a lot with podcasting. Do you have a sweet spot you work with clients? Are you broad based in their marketing, or do you tend to focus on helping them with podcasting and then maybe do a little bit on the side?
Well, our business has evolved. So we used to provide just kind of broad-based marketing strategy for our clients. And the thing that we kept hearing from them is that the strategies were great. When they go back to implement them, they didn't have the internal team to do it, and they didn't have the capability to execute on a lot of the strategies, particularly when it came to some of the more technical things. And finally said one day to one of our best clients, I said, look, if we just did this for you, would that help? Because he was frustrated. He'd been, like 3 quarters in a row, he hadn't really made any progress on a strategy that we both agreed was going to be really big for him. I finally just, look, if we just take this over for you and did X, Y, and Z, would that help? And he's like, yeah, that would be amazing. So by the end of that call, we'd sort of roughed out how we were going to do that, and away we went. That worked so well, we went back to all of our other clients at the time and said, look, we've tested this and we've got one person who's really happy. Would this make you happy too? And they all said yes. So we've kind of pivoted now to helping businesses implement their marketing, but to do that in a way that allows us to really operate at a high level. And for the business owners we work with, as I said early on, a lot of the people we work with just don't want to become professional marketers. They understand kind of what their messaging is when they're talking with someone one-on-one, and they know who they serve. They just need to be in a position where they can get that out. And we found that a podcast is the easiest way to do that. We actually experimented with helping them create written content for the web and for their email list early on. But the problem we found with that is we'd interview them, we'd write up an article, it'd be a great article, but then that just gave the business owner homework. They felt like they needed to go and become an editor. Even though we'd edited it and done all that stuff, it gave them homework, which defeated the whole purpose of freeing them up. Mm-hmm. So what we found is if they can show up and talk, just like what we're doing here, they can have a conversation. They already know how to do that. There's no new skill for them to get in the process. And when they hang up, it's done. The conversation is recorded. There's nothing really for them to review. They know what they said. It's their words. Oftentimes we're putting them in contact with an influencer. So they're doing an interview like this and building a relationship with that influencer, giving value first, to really kick off the relationship. We're doing the same with a prospect. And you'd be amazed if you're selling into, a business to business environment, selling to other small to medium-sized companies where you can get the CEO on the phone or get the business owner on the phone for a call like this. There aren't many business owners that will say no to an opportunity to promote themselves. And so it's a great way to just fly right past all the gatekeepers and get somebody to say yes to meeting with you, build a relationship that's not based on, hey, I'm here to sell you something, and then figure out how do I add value once you've built that relationship, and how do I, come in, add value, and create a sales opportunity. And so that's really why we've pivoted to podcasts, because we've just found for our clients, they already know how to do this. They already know how to have these conversations. There's nothing new for them to learn, so it's easy for them to ramp up and get going.
So are you interviewing them every week, or are you setting them up to be interviewed, or are they the host?
Yeah, they're the host. We set them up to interview either influencers or potential clients, or to go on and have a solo episode where they talk about their philosophy, their worldview. This, as we talked about before, the whole idea of this is how we do things and here's why, which kind of helps get their message out to the people that it matters to.
Mm-hmm. So then it just helps them be seen as an expert in their own industry, right? Absolutely.
Yep.
Who would this not work for?
That's a great question.
Pick on, like, I got a friend that's a chiropractor, another friend that's an optometrist, right? Can a local optometrist follow this method and get more eye care patients and clients?
It's a good question. I don't know that we've tried it in medicine yet. We have tried it with a number of local businesses. It works great for local businesses. So we've worked with local IT consultants, where they're targeting other business owners. And the hesitation around medicine for me would be that the target is not business. So we work with companies who are selling to other businesses, and specifically selling to other entrepreneurial businesses. In other words, the business owner is the CEO, and it's generally going to be a smaller company. So not a big corporate entity. We have clients who have done this successfully with, targeting people inside corporations. It just is a little more difficult because they don't have the same incentive to promote the business. Mm-hmm. And so it can work, but it can take a little bit longer to ramp up. But for selling to other entrepreneurial companies, it makes it real simple because you're going to a business owner and they're going to want to, talk to basically anybody that will help spread their message, and
Right.
you get that opportunity. And
So
so
basically, like if I'm an IT guy, I own an IT business, and I target like a local big business, but still local, and ask the CEO if he wants to be interviewed, and then in that process, we get to know each other, and they're like, "Hey, you're all right. What do you do? Oh, IT. Yeah, our IT's crap. Can you come and give us a quote? Yeah, I'd be happy to give you a quote." That kind of
yeah, often
model.
happens like that. One of the things we teach our clients to do is at the end of the call, just ask, once you've stopped recording, just ask the person you're interviewing. So, hey, I've learned a lot about your business over the course of the last 30 minutes or whatever the interview was. Where do you see yourself going over the next 3 years? What are your big goals? People love talking about their goals. Well, as they do that, they're basically painting the picture of their bigger future. And that gives you the roadmap for how you can plug in, if you can plug in.
Right.
And I always believe the best way to sell is to figure out where someone wants to be and come in with a solution that'll help them get there faster or cheaper or more effectively.
Nah, man, I just show up with a big stick, lock the doors, Come on, man. It's way too nice. You're too nice.
You just throw them in the back of the car, don't you? There's probably somebody back there now.
I always love the jerky boys, man. I slam his head into the hood. You're going to buy this car. Guy's like, whoa, whoa, whoa. We don't do things like that here. So I can kind of tone it down and maybe just choke him. Like, oh my gosh. I had to enlighten my children on the jerky boys. So, I'm a good father, good role model for them.
That's awesome.
So man, that's cool. So unstoppableceo.net, right? Is that your website?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay. Should we direct them anywhere else? You have a report or anything, or just start there and dive in?
Yeah, if they start there, and we've actually set up a page for folks who are listening to your podcast. So if they go to unstoppableceo.net/sales podcast, we've got some free stuff there. You can get a free copy of my latest book, which talks about all the steps we kind of go through to use interviews and a podcast to connect with prospects. And so you can get that there free. And we've got an email course on how to build authority and a couple of other goodies there that they can get. So again, unstoppableceo.net/sales podcast, and then get all that stuff.
All right. I just pulled that up here, and I will link to it in the show notes.
Awesome.
Very nice. Steve Gordon, all the way from Tallahassee, man. Thanks for coming on the show.
Thanks, Wes. It's been fun. Right. Enjoy your vacation.
Right. Hey, I will. Have a great day.
I hope you liked that episode despite the audio from my car, but he had good audio. I link to a couple of his books, The Exponential Network Strategy and Unstoppable Referrals. Please check that out on thesaleswhisper.com. Go to the Steve Gordon episode. Those are affiliate links. They give me a few nickels from Amazon when you order through there. Just like everything on the website, I'm usually an affiliate, and I recommend you do the same thing. If you've got a website or any business that maybe you have a limited product. I'm working actually with my cousin. He's created an interesting tool for law enforcement, for emergency responders, anybody that does outdoor activities, hiking, anything crazy like that. It's also meant for people with disabilities, like children with autism. It's a tag. It looks just like the red tags you see on like inflatable devices, right? On a plane, right? Pull this to deploy, and they'll deploy the life raft. It's the same sort of thing, but it's got information on you as the individual, your blood type, in case of emergency, things like that. And he's a cop in Riverside County, the sheriff's department. And he admits he does not try to open someone's phone to see what the heck is going on, who they can contact. It's too hectic. But this product is very low price. It's under $20. And I've been telling him this is just the entryway into a broader market. People that buy this have something in common. We hear about the whole Cambridge Analytica thing and the elections and Facebook and targeting. And those guys admitted they had 5,000 data points on all of us. With that information, they know what to offer us. Well, that's true. It's always been true in marketing, although with technology and people offering all their info on Facebook for free, they have a lot more data points. But when you know something about someone, if somebody is subscribed to the NRA magazine, it's probably a safe assumption they're a Trump supporter, that they're a conservative, that they're probably into hunting. I'm not a big hunter. I belong to the NRA. But if you sent me something on hunting, I'd probably read it. I might even buy it, depending on what it is. But it's a safer bet than if somebody is subscribed to the National Enquirer, right? We can make educated guesses about someone from the info that we have. And so I'm telling my cousin, people that order this, so law enforcement, outdoor people, right? I'm having him get in touch with Dick's Sporting Goods and Bass Pro Shops, places like that. But as he makes these sales to the individuals, he needs to be an affiliate of other products, things he doesn't even make. I don't make HubSpot. I don't make Entreport. I don't make Infusionsoft, but I get paid for knowing those products and recommending them. Okay, so you should be doing the same thing. Find products, find people that you resonate with. I have an affiliate program. If you want to refer somebody to me, if you go to thesaleswhisperer.com/affiliate, it's free to sign up, and you'll get links to my books and other courses, and I pay referral fees, affiliate commissions on pretty much everything that I offer, from live events to physical products to private coaching. But you need to figure out how to do the same thing. If you want to talk about that, hit me up. Go to my website, hit the contact us. You get a 15-minute appointment with me, no charge, and see how we might be able to work together or help you get unstuck. If you want to dig even deeper, 30daysalesgrowth.com. Come join that. And I'm still, as always, taking on 1 or 2 private coaching clients at a time, or 1 or 2 new ones. I keep 5 to 6 at a time, never more than 7 or 8. It just depends on the workload with other clients. So if you need some private help, 30 days, we'll get at, or 90 days, 3 months, we'll get after it. And I'll help you get unstuck. Okay? Thanks for listening. Please be sure to hit the subscribe button. Please be sure to give me a review, hopefully 5 stars, and let me know who you'd like me to have on the show. I'd be happy to reach out to them and schedule them if they are good. Okay? Thanks for listening. I'll go sell something.